So many people have asked me, well, did you ask yourself, why me? Or, no. To me, that was just letting Satan in the door to try to make me have doubts. And for me, I just couldn't go there. So I never asked why.
That's a positive approach, and she's been holding on to that frame of mind for the last 16 years. Marsha Harper is a 3-time cancer survivor.
If she looks familiar, it's because we've talked to her before, a couple years ago, following this devastating barn fire. Marsha risked her life running into the burning building to rescue the horses trapped inside. All but one survived. Marsha was going through chemo when this happened, and she's still getting those treatments today. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and all month long, we're sharing your stories of bravery and survival. In this week's Friends in the Fight, Marsha's battle now is to stay in remission.
They were my focus through treatment, through everything.
Her boys are 3 and 5 years old in this picture. It was taken around the time Marsha Harper first introduced them to the C word.
I wanted them to understand as best that they could what was happening.
34 years old and diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer. The good news, they found it early. She had a double mastectomy followed by 6 months of chemotherapy. And with that comes the inevitable.
I would tell them that, okay, I'm gonna have to take some really strong medicine. It's so strong, you're not gonna believe this, what it does. And they're like, what? I said, it makes your hair fall out. And they're like, what? Mommy, you mean you're gonna be bald-headed?
When the time came to chop it off, Marsha made sure her boys were the barbers.
My best friend came over and we had a hair party. She pulled my hair up in a ponytail, and each boy got to stand up on the chair and cut half of my ponytail off. And so that to try to give them a little control in something that you have no control over.
51 weeks later, almost a year to the date of her diagnosis, Marsha went in for a checkup.
And I had a relapse.
The cancer was back and her fight continued. Several weeks of radiation, 1 year of treatment, and the cancer was gone. 5 years, Marsha was in remission. Then, in the blink of an eye.
So, same breast cancer, but it had moved to the lung this time.
Today, 16 years after this picture was taken, the boys are off at college, and Marsha is still in treatment.
Their whole life has been wrapped around cancer. Sometimes it's hard because you wish in some aspects that they would have had a normal life, that you wouldn't have had to deal with that. And the chance of losing your mom all the time, always in the back of your head. I hate that they've had to do that. But on the flip side of that, I think it has built character in them like nothing else could have.
Marsha Harper.
This is Marsha's new normal.
You get used to hearing that sound a lot.
Chemotherapy every 3 weeks for the last decade. That's right, every 3 weeks for 10 years straight, this powerful drug gets pumped into Marsha's body.
But as long as it's keeping the cancer away, I don't mind. It's a small price to pay. Got to see my kids graduate from high school. Didn't know if I was going to be able to do that. Good to the last drop kind of thing. For as much as it costs, you definitely want to make sure you get it off.
How you feeling right now?
Getting tired. Getting tired. That just kind of takes over the body. After I finish here, I'll go home and get in some really comfy clothes, and I crash in my recliner.
That's where she'll hunker down for the next few days.
I like to be in my recliner because I can look out the window and see the coast. Come on, babies.
First there were 3.
There, my babies.
Now there are 15.
Come on. There you go. They make me smile.
Yes, I know.
It's just like I'm having a dog, but we have a lot of them.
For Marsha, this is her therapy.
You see unconditional love. And it just, you're surrounded with it. And it makes me feel happy. It makes me feel better. It's the favorite snack
animal crackers.
When she's here,
Here you go, baby.
the C word doesn't exist.
There you go, sweet girl.
The big C word doesn't have to mean automatically death. That you can make it through and overcome. And I think that's where that positive attitude comes from. It's them.
Her kids, the 2 off at college and the 15 still at home. All things worth fighting for.
Marsha will most likely have to continue chemotherapy for the rest of her life to make sure she stays in remission. And with this type of chemo, Marsha tells me she gets to keep her hair.